Okay, so last video I did a breakdown of the MLB trade deadline that just happened on Monday, August 31st. Today I want to go over, I want to give my grades for each team, the teams that were most active in the deadline, okay? And it's going to be, your simple numerical grade and so on and so forth. And I have a bunch here to go over. So with that, let's get to it. By the way, if this is your first time to the channel, you just like good baseball content, welcome. And make sure you hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. And if you want to see some either the 100+ videos that I put out already or more good content, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the bell next to it so you don't miss out. But take a look in the description down below. I'll put a couple of videos for your enjoyment. All right. With that said, thank you to my regulars. You guys are the best. But let's get to it. Okay. Philadelphia Phillies. What did they do? They added Brendan Workman, David Phelps. I'm looking at my book here. Heath Hembree and David Hale. They pretty much did a complete workover or makeover of their bullpen. Okay, 4 relief pitchers. That's where they were deficient. So they addressed a serious need, and they did it with depth and pretty much for prospects. They didn't gut their system, obviously. They got some incremental pieces. So with that, I give them a B+. That's my grade for the Philadelphia Phillies. They did what they needed to do. Milwaukee Brewers. One of the trades, one of the only trade that they was involved the Philadelphia Phillies, trading David Phelps, one of their relievers, for 3 minor leaguers, just incremental prospects, so on. They did not move Josh Hader. They still think they can possibly compete. So, but we'll see. It wasn't a significant trade, so with that, I give them a C+. All right. Miami Marlins. They added Starling Marte. That's their big trade for 2 pitchers. And they also traded Jonathan Villar to Toronto for, I think, some prospects. And they got, they got Starling Marte and a couple of prospects. And they sent out 2 major league pitchers to Arizona and Jonathan Villar to Toronto. They need, my personal opinion is they need, and I said this in a couple of my other videos, even my trade predictions, they needed some veteran bats. They obviously got one, Starling Marte. It's a legit bat, but my problem with it is that he has a $12 million option for next year, and then he's a free agent. I don't know if the Marlins are going to exercise it. I thought, and I said this in another video, they might have been better with somebody like Miguel Andujar if they had an opportunity to play. Even though Marte's stats are, pretty gaudy, Miguel Andujar, when he plays, he's healthy now. He hits, and given an opportunity, he's also under team control at the league minimum until 2024. So the cost, I think, would have been more wise for the Miami Marlins, particularly since it's going to be uncertain next year. Even this year, who knows when fans are going to be coming back, when teams are going to be making money. And since this is a kind of a low-budget team, I thought Andujar might have been a good fit, but they got some capital in return, and they got Marte, so I give them a B-. Cincinnati. They're clearly going for it. Obviously, they didn't become sellers. All the work that they did in the offseason, they actually made a couple decent trades. They brought Brian Goodwin in, outfielder, and Archie Bradley from the Diamondbacks, right-handed pitcher relief pitcher from the Diamondbacks. Their closer, actually. So it's a nice boost to their bullpen, and they added some positional depth, and did not give up any significant pieces. Even though these guys are going to be free agents, it's pretty clear that they're going for it. I give them an A-. Under the radar, but well done. Toronto, they were one of the more aggressive teams, in my opinion. They got Taijuan Walker, starting pitcher from the Seattle Mariners. Robbie Ray, starting pitcher from the Arizona Diamondbacks. Ross Stripling, another pitcher. Who was this? Daniel Vogelbach, who's a first base / DH. And Jonathan Villar. So they added pitching, which they needed, and they added some positional flexibility. So they had one of the better trade deadlines. In my opinion, they were active, and then again, they didn't give up a ton of stuff. They gave up some players, particularly for the pitchers, but they got better. So I give them an A. Not an A+, an A. Okay. Chicago Cubs. They acquired Jose Martinez, who just wasn't clicking with Tampa Bay. So he'd probably be a DH. What else? Cameron Maybin, who's a nice incremental piece. I thought the Yankees personally should have re-signed him for another year, but it was a good acquisition for them. Andrew Chafin and Josh Osio for their left-handed pitchers for the bullpen. And Osich, excuse me, Josh Osich. And incremental moves, but they're surprisingly better than people thought they were going to be. So I didn't think they need to make any major moves. I thought they might have been, in the market to trade for Chris Bryant, but obviously people are being either a lot more frugal because of what's going on, or certain teams are just asking for way too much, which was the result of some of the non-trades that happened. But all in all, I give the Chicago Cubs a B. Cleveland, they obviously made the blockbuster trade. I actually predicted this trade in one of my videos, my 8 bold predictions for 2020. I'll put it in the description down below. One of their biggest trade I actually predicted, and I'm actually glad I claimed true. So let's see who they brought in. They brought in Austin Hedges, catcher, Josh Naylor, who's an infield first baseman / outfielder. They brought in Cal Quantrill, starting pitcher. Gabriel Arias, a shortstop. Owen Miller, another infielder, and Joey Cantillo, who's a left-handed pitcher. And so they restocked their entire farm. Yes, they get rid of Mike Clevenger. They sent him to the Padres, which was my prediction. And they got rid of Allen too. I don't remember his first name. They got rid of a reliever. I'm not sure what position he was, but he was part of the trade. It was a monster trade, but obviously the key piece was Mike Clevenger going. And in my opinion, they traded one of their aces and did not get any worse. I mean, they have the pitching capacity to still compete for the American League title and restock their farm system at the same time. So I gave them an A. Okay. San Diego. They acquired Mike Clevenger in the Cleveland trade. They also acquired Trevor Rosenthal, relief pitcher from the Kansas City Royals. They acquired Austin Adams, pitcher. Dan Altavilla, another pitcher. Taylor Williams, another pitcher. Mitch Moreland, first base / DH from the Red Sox. A good bat. He's really raking this year, so they brought in some offensive versatility there and some depth. Jason Castro, a catcher. Austin Nolan, another catcher. Greg Allen, that was the one from Cleveland, an outfielder. So what's crazy is they made these huge trades. They did give up 7 of their top 20 prospects, which was expected in some of these significant trades. None of them were in the top 4 or 5. So they're a good blueprint to follow. Acquire a lot of prospect capital, then sign a couple of major free agents, and then use some of that prospect capital to complement the free agents that you brought in incrementally over the years. And now they're in a position to close the gap potentially with the Los Angeles Dodgers, and at the very least make some noise in the playoffs. So I give San Diego an A. Okay, let's go to the next page. New York Mets. They acquired under the radar, but incremental. I think they incrementally got better as well. They acquired Miguel Castro, relief pitcher, hard-throwing relief pitcher, from Baltimore for a prospect. They acquired Robinson Chirinos, a catcher, which gives them positional depth, some catching depth there, and Todd Frazier, the Todd father. They brought him back, both from Texas for, I think, 2 players to be named later, and cash. So they didn't give up a lot, but they incrementally got better in a couple of different positions. And with an underperforming team, I think they did pretty solid. So I give them a B-. Arizona Diamondbacks. They swapped out Robbie Ray, sent him to Toronto. And who did they get? Let's see, they get prospect depth. They got a lot of good decent amount of prospect depth and pitching depth for Starling Marte and Robbie Ray. That's what they did. They restocked their farm. I don't remember exactly who it was, but they got a decent amount of prospects for both of them. So B. Okay. And last but not least, I'm combining a couple of teams: Tampa Bay Rays, the New York Yankees, and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Okay, none of them made moves. Mainly, because some of the prices were just ridiculously high, and since they have solid farm systems, the teams like Texas, who wanted to unload Lance Lynn, wanted the moon for the guy. And it was just, there was no way out of the team. I mean, for the Yankees, they said between Clark Schmidt, Davey Garcia, and Clint Frazier, they had to give up at least 2 of them for Lance Lynn. There's no way that's going to happen. Okay, and the same thing applied for the Dodgers and the Rays as well. prices were too high. So I give them all an incomplete because they didn't make any moves. But it's definitely, I mean, I can't give them a D or an F or anything like that because they weren't extorted. They didn't make stupid deals, and I would rather make a no deal than a stupid deal. So, the Yankees have like 8 or 10 guys coming back, hopefully, from the DL. So hopefully that'll be like acquisitions. Tampa Bay looks really good. Dodgers look really good. So, and that's pretty much it. No, and I have one last one. Oakland A's. They acquired Mike Minor, left-handed pitcher from the Texas Rangers, for a prospect or maybe 2 prospects. Just added some pitching depth. I don't know how significant it's been. He would have probably been. It would have been better off with him acquiring him last year. But it is what it is. And Oakland A's are really, really good. Hopefully, contributes. I give them a C+. Okay. So those are my grades for the 2020 MLB trade deadline. Let me know what you think. If you have any ideas or different grades of your own, put them in the comments down below. Like everybody knows, I respond to all comments and feedback. So I want this to be one of the better channels out there. So with that, let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you next time.